Okay, welcome then to this session on supporting systematic reviews. This is part one, searching on the new EBSCOhost interface. So this is the first of two parts. The second part will look at the management of search results, but today we're looking at the concepts of searching the healthcare literature to support systematic reviews, from the initial framing of a question to demonstrating a search with combining both keywords and subject terms for CINAHL and MEDLINE on this interface. To formally introduce myself, for those who've not attended a previous session with me or met me before, I'm Richard Crooks. I'm a senior customer training specialist for the UK, Ireland and Nordics. I'm also a chartered librarian by profession, now having spent 14 years with EBSCO in total, and previously 12 years in various roles as a medical librarian in different organisations in the UK. So glad you could join us. Welcome to the session this afternoon. I know we have librarians from other parts of Europe as well, from the Nordics, so they're welcome. I'm glad to have you on board today in this session. So please use the Teams chat as necessary for any comments, questions or feedback about the interface, any of the key features or processes I'm showing today. And also, if I need to unmute you, then please set the raised hand icon and I can do so. So I don't want to stop you from speaking or asking something directly if necessary. Okay, in terms of what I plan to cover and what I hope to achieve in this session with you all, I hope that by the end of this session, so within the next hour, you'll be able to describe the key steps in searching in support of systematic reviews. Of course, for some, this will be second nature. You know this already, but for others, you may be quite new to the process, and it's good to be reminded as well. You'll be able to plan an appropriate search strategy using the PICO framework. We've got PICO there because we added the time element as well, but we'll go through the steps to creating a PICO search, essentially. You'll also be able to locate and use the methodological search filters as well. So again, this may be something you want to use up front in the future to see what's been done before, what's out there, also as a way to identify additional terms, perhaps even after the initial iteration of a search. And also you'll be able to find further support for EBSCO's research databases as well. So we have updated content on EBSCO Connect. We have another portal dedicated to providing information, tutorials, links to handouts, etc. for healthcare databases specifically. And I appreciate the majority of you today on this call are coming from the academic community. Typically we have NHS, HSC librarians as well. So also for those who, of course, will be watching this post-session. So the first thing then is, what is a systematic review? So again, a definition, a review of clearly formulated question that uses systematic and explicit methods to identify, select, and critically appraise relevant research, and to collect and analyze data from the studies that are included in the review. So as you can see, I've highlighted some key terms because we are going to focus on a clearly formulated question, a search question, and we're going to approach this systematically with the intention of identifying what's out there, as it were. So we're not going to go through the process of selecting and appraising relevant research. Of course, we can apply a search filter, which we'll do later, but we are essentially focusing on the searching aspect in support of a review. And as I mentioned, we'll get to the processing of search results in the next session, part 2. So setting the scene then, the goal, of course, in supporting systematic reviews is that you are, as a user, attempting to identify all studies, and some would argue the majority of studies. Perhaps there's a feeling that it is not possible to get everything that's out there, but you'll do what you can to do that. That could meet the eligibility criteria. So there may be various parameters already set that you may be aware of that you need to be guided by when you are running searches on these databases. And of course, we are looking at the EBSCO's platform in this session. So key points then regarding the search steps, taking account of what's just been said. We're looking at the identification of the evidence of the literature, the primary literature that's out there and indexed in the available databases. And I mentioned CINAHL and MEDLINE particularly. So we're going to understand the research question, identify what is the question, and we can then go from there to turn the question itself into an appropriate search strategy. And that means we'll use a combination of keyword searching, so free text terms, as well as the use of the subheadings, whether they're mesh terms from the MEDLINE database or related to the CINAHL index for CINAHL. So again, indexing will vary between the databases, so we use the appropriate control vocabulary according to the database. So typically, we're going to be searching the databases individually rather than cross-searching them, which is possible, but in order to be more authoritative and more accurate with what we find, we are going to search them individually, or we typically would do this. We will focus on one database today just for time. We can also factor in the use of truncation, wildcards, and also precision or proximity search operators to enhance the information retrieval. So again, we have ways to expand the search itself, especially in relation to keyword searching, to ensure that we find what's out there according to the criteria that's been agreed upon in support of this review. So those 3 steps are going to be crucial as we look at this particular research question. So as you can see, I've got this question here. In adult cancer patients experiencing fatigue, what is the effect of meditation compared with standard care on quality of life within 6 months? Now, you can see I've already highlighted the key terms, and I've also annotated this question with the elements of PICO or PICOT, if you like to call it that. So we have adult cancer patients. They are actually experiencing fatigue. So the adults with cancer experiencing fatigue. We have meditation with a comparison of the standard care, the general care, and then the impact on quality of life and with a specified time frame. So clearly I've identified those concepts already. And then the next step would then be to kind of populate the framework, if you like, with other terms that we could be looking at or using for this search. So we're using the PICOT process to frame and answer a question. Obviously got the 5 categories there, the elements, the patient, problem or population. So adult cancer patients with fatigue, the intervention, we look at meditation compared to standard care. And then the outcome, of course, is the effect of quality of life within a 6-month time frame. Now, the second row, of course, are the terms that we could be using, the keywords that we would want to enter to run a search against the database, be it CINAHL or MEDLINE. In a sense, we're obviously second guessing what researchers, authors, clinicians, nursing staff use in their research in terms of this condition. So we're looking at obviously cancer, it goes without saying, neoplasms, oncology, tumor, of course, variations of spelling. We have to consider that too. Content being published internationally, malignancy, fatigue, tiredness, again, related to fatigue. And then we also have meditation, of course, the intervention, but that could also be mindfulness therapy, breathing techniques, relaxation techniques, yoga, guided imagery, and so on. So there could be more terms that you can add here. And no doubt, if you run this for the first time, you will come across other terms that you would then factor into a future iteration of the search as well. Now, we're not going to do a direct comparison in terms of searching standard care. That goes without saying, because you're going to assume that when we do find articles about meditation, etc., it will be compared with standard care. Outcome, of course, though, is important. Quality of life, quality of living, life quality, so different synonyms here, well-being, and that can be rendered in different ways. And then, of course, we ideally want to find things within a specified time frame, within 6 months. We are not going to actually search that directly. So we're going to run essentially the search based on the patient population and problem, the intervention, and the outcome, essentially. And therefore, I've also included the uppercase terms in the third row, which are the subject terms, be it MESH or CINAHL headings that are used by indexers that have been assigned to identify the related content. So again, a combination of free text or keyword searching with the actual use of the control vocabularies is how we're going to approach it in this session this afternoon. So we'll go through some more of the theory, if you like, the background, before we go through the live demonstration using these terms in relation to this question. So just a note ready here in terms of the way you search. Now, there's some debate, again, whether or not you would perform an unqualified keyword search as opposed to merely title and abstract and be more focused. So if you are going to go approach this from the application of unqualified searching, where you're not, searching within specified fields, you're searching all fields, in other words, then the default fields for an unqualified search in CINAHL consists of those fields indicated there. So if you perform a keyword search, so for example, if you search for neoplasms or cancer within CINAHL, it's going to see if those terms, identify if those terms appear in the title, abstract, subheadings, PubMed ID, or dish object identifier. And of course, some of those would not be applicable in any case. So when you select all fields, and you can see that highlighted there in the screenshot, it is actually doing that. So you perform a keyword search within those specified areas of or fields of a record in CINAHL. So if your term or terms appear, your keyword terms appear in any of those fields, then it would retrieve records. Okay. Medline, in contrast, has additional terms as well, or fields that are searched. That includes, for example, personal name, transliterated title, contributed indexing as well. So there are additional fields that Medline you'll search through when you do a keyword search within Medline. So this is all in the background. It's hidden from view if you like, but we just want to be explicit up front about it. And you can find more information on unqualified searching on EBSCO's databases in general. So it could be CINAHL, MEDLINE, or others, with the EBSCO database help files. So those are available online through EBSCO Connect. So the database help files are the original help files that were there in the EBSCO's classic version. Some of you still are using it. They've been archived but made available through EBSCO Connect. So the help now within the EBSCO's interface goes directly to EBSCO Connect to the quick start guide by default at the moment. So again, this is just a reminder of when you are doing a keyword search on any of these databases, this is how it's searching. This is why records are retrieved essentially. With that, I just want to add this caveat too in terms of how that works, because the search modes and the expanders, which you'll see in a moment, also have some bearing on what is retrieved. So by default, within the EBSCO's databases, again, CINAHL, MEDLINE, the proximity search mode is on. So essentially then what you're doing when you're using proximity search, again, if you put in two keywords, for example, childhood obesity, it will look for childhood near 5 words or less of obesity and obesity near 5 words or less of childhood. Okay, so that's the default precision operator. Near is applied in the proximity search mode. So typically, again, any EBSCO's database, this will be on default. It can be changed, it can be reconfigured. It has been done in the NHS in England. That has been changed. The labeling has been changed to phrase, and also the proximity search has been changed to within 0, which means you search for the terms as they appear next to each other in the order you enter them. So again, it will depend on your institution, how this has been configured. Obviously, if you're part of a consortia, it would have been agreed at a higher level, senior level, to determine that configuration. But what I'm saying here is the default setting for EBSCO's databases, including CINAHL, MEDLINE, is proximity search mode. Okay. There are others there, as you can see. Find all my search terms is just simply the AND operator. Find any is OR. We have smart text searching, which allows you to search for a quantity of text, such as an abstract, and it reconfigures a query based on those keywords within the paragraph or abstract. And then we have natural language search, which is the AI, large language model, being prompted to generate a query based on your question. I won't get into that today. We cover that in other sessions. We have done so before, but there is a EBSCO Connect link that you'll see here also, which is context sensitive help. So that will direct you to the information you need to know about the search mode. So again, you can verify that yourself online. So again, that determines also how your keyword search will be performed essentially as an unqualified search, particularly. And then we have the expanders. Again, if you're running an unqualified search and you have these expanders applied, then that will also generate more hits aside from what you find or retrieve with your keyword searches. So what you'll see here at the moment is apply equivalent subjects on, and that is by default for some institutions. That will map your keyword search term to a particular concept. So for example, if you're looking at work-related injuries, it may map to the concept of occupational injuries. That in turn may then retrieve records indexed with occupational therapy, occupational health, and so on. Apply related words is similar, but what it will do is identify synonyms and plurals related to your terms. So if you put child as a keyword search, it would pick up childhood, children, and so on, but where those terms are index terms from the control vocabulary. So apply related words is directing you to bring back results, index results with the source terms. Apply equivalent subjects is related to a particular concept, which in turn is mapped to the index terms. And then the other one, also searched in the full text, is going beyond searching the basic citation. It's actually searching within the PDF HTML documents that are available within a given EBSCO's database. Again, CINAHL, MEDLINE. And you may have other versions of these databases. I am going to be using the basic CINAHL, the abstract and index only version. You may have upgraded to CINAHL Complete or CINAHL Ultimate, for example, or you have Medline with full text or Medline complete or even Medline Ultimate. So again, there you'll have a larger quantity of full text content, and of course also search within the full text will then search directly through those full text records as well. So essentially these two options, the search modes and expanders, are really more relevant when you are doing an unqualified keyword search as opposed to just focusing it by searching within specified fields. Okay, so again, there's links in the document in the PowerPoint with more information, and we do have the context-sensitive help within the database itself, as we'll see live in a moment. So just to go a step further then, if your approach to this in supporting a review is to perform a title and abstract search, with the EBSCOhost interface, with its recent developments, launch as it were, we now have title and abstract as a field code. So XB is the field code. So in this example where you see heart attack or myocardial infarction or cardiac arrest, it will search for those terms, whether the terms appear in the title field, the abstract field, or both, essentially. Okay, so I know this has been long awaited, where on this platform you could search title abstract simultaneously. Okay, so it's the XB field code, and if you prefer rather than use the drop-down menu, you can also use the command line XB with the terms listed as well. So XB is the field code for title and abstract searching. So we do have more information on this. I think I've included it in the PowerPoint as well. So again, that's where you're going to look at the title and abstract search. And in addition to that, and this is applicable both for title abstract searching plus the unqualified search, you can use truncation and wildcards to extend or expand the keywords that you're using. So for example, if you're looking for diabetes, then you can use the asterisk to truncate the word accordingly to find both variations. So place the asterisk in the appropriate area at the end of the term, if you've abbreviated it, to find those other terms. You can also use the asterisk between terms as well. So if you're looking at ventilator-associated pneumonia or acquired pneumonia, then you can simply enter ventilator asterisk pneumonia, and it will find all three variations: ventilator pneumonia, ventilator-associated pneumonia, and ventilator-acquired pneumonia. Now, with phrase searching, you would use double quotes. Again, this is the syntax that's appropriate to this interface. So you could do a search for influenza vaccine, and the words may appear near each other in any order if it's an unqualified search, for example, as I mentioned earlier. However, if you put quotation marks around them, it will search for the exact phrase, and you will retrieve at least your records where that is mentioned at least once. Okay. You have the single character wildcard, the question mark, which is used to replace a single character. So for organization, the S or the Z. And if you're looking for woman or women, then you can replace the appropriate vowel, the A or the E, and find both variations. So these are kind of like shortcuts, either expanding the multitude of words that you want to retrieve, or just compensating for entering the word multiple times, as it were, the search terms multiple times to avoid that. Then we have alternate spelling. We have the hash wildcard. So again, if you're looking at pediatrics, so you can put P hash and then the rest of the term to find both variations, PED or PAED, US, UK, English there for pediatrics. And also for color and behavior, you can add O hash R. That'll find both variations, and likewise with behavior. So if you look at cognitive behavioral therapy and so on, you've got IO hash R, as it were. Okay. So again, just some instances, some examples of how you can use the truncation wildcards on EBSCOhost. So we do have help sheets on this, both for CINAHL and MEDLINE, to give you more information on that. Now, before we go on to the live demonstration and begin the search, also to mention the proximity search. I've already mentioned it up front with the default search mode, but you can also use it in the course you're searching. Again, even within the title abstract fields, because you can use the near or within operators. So near, as I've indicated already, will find words regardless of the order in which you enter them. So again, using N5, near 5, that means near 5 words or less. With the example of gallbladder disease, it would search for gallbladder near 5 words less of disease, and also disease near 5 words or less of gallbladder. So again, it's in any order. Within is more restrictive because it finds the words, the terms, as they appear in the order you enter them. So again, use another example of childhood obesity, Charted, WA, obesity, means you are looking for charted within 8 words or less of obesity, but not obesity within 8 words or less of charted. Okay, so it's more restrictive. So again, it's your decision how you use these, because there are various applications, and it will make sense to use near as opposed to within in some instances, and vice versa. Multiple terms can also be used on either side of the operator. So this example with flu or influenza, we have in parentheses flu or influenza near 3 words of vaccine. Now I've truncated vaccine as well, so we could pick up vaccine, vaccines, vaccination, vaccinated, vaccinations, etc. So again, you can combine the truncation, the wildcards, with the precision operators as well. So you can construct a query that way to ensure that you find variations. They're kind of shortcuts. You can make this more long-winded if you wish, but just some examples of how you can use the syntax on this particular platform, again applied to CINAHL MEDLINE. So that is the background to searching essentially the interface in Support Assistant Review. We will now try this out with the example that we saw earlier. So I am going to switch screens here. Again, if anyone has any comments, feedback, maybe experience of using the EBSCOhost interface recently, as it has changed a lot, then please feel free to post that in the Teams chat, and also we can follow up post-session as needed as well. So let me just share my desktop, and you should now see we have CINAHL available. So we're going to spend most of the time on CINAHL in this instance. So we begin with looking at and I'm going to use title and abstract searching for here. Again, a reminder just to outline with this interface, you've got the search rows on screen here, the advanced search page. You've got the Boolean operators to combine, etc., and or not. You can add more rows. So if you like to enter your terms line by line, you can, again, combine with the appropriate Boolean operators. And we also have the drop-down fields as well. So if you were to cross-search this database with MEDLINE, for example, it will then reduce you to fields that are common to both databases. So you would not see, for example, title and abstract. So again, I think in the context of a systematic review, you wouldn't be searching cross-searching. You will be searching individual databases. You may start with MEDLINE, then switch to CINAHL. You may start with CINAHL and switch to MEDLINE. And you would have to adjust the search strategy based on the indexing in particular. Because obviously, although they both originate with the National Allied Medicine, CINAHL is focused primarily on nursing and allied health. MEDLINE is biomedical medicine primarily. Okay, the other subjects, of course, covered as well. But the indexing does differ between the mesh terms, the medical subheadings, and CINAHL headings as well. So we are going to stay with CINAHL. And just to also remind you, the search options tab, again, this is where you'll find the information, the current setup for search mode. So you may not be an administrator where you are. Maybe other colleagues have done this. So you can always check this out, check this with them. And again, there's the context-sensitive menus to verify the search mode functionality, and also the use of the expanders as well. And of course, you can change these as you need to. Okay, you can adapt to them as well. So you can disable apply current subjects if you wish. Okay. So just a few things to mention there. So in terms of title and abstract searching, again, I'm going to choose the field code here, and I am going to enter my terms. So I'm going to try and incorporate some of the things I've mentioned in the PowerPoint. So for example, with cancer, I am going to put in cancer with the asterisk. That will pick up cancer, cancers, and cancerous, of course. I'm also using the same for oncology. Okay, so I'm going to just use this. Could be oncologist as well, or neoplasms. Okay, and then also tumor. So I'm going for that. I'm going to use the and hash. Okay, R. Okay, for your spelling. So I'm going to run a keyword search for these terms within these fields, so they can appear in the title and abstract, or either of these fields. Okay, within anything available through CINAHL. Okay, and a key thing, of course, about this is that when we're searching by keyword, I'm going to run this now, it means that we are searching records that could have been recently added to the database. So we refer to them as pre-CINAHL. They're basically in-process records. They may not have index terms. So if you look at the very first term here, there are no subject headings here. This is a pre-CINAHL record. This is a new addition. So it says Oncology November 2025, but it hasn't been fully indexed yet. So this is one of the reasons why we really do encourage keyword or free text searching combined with subject searching, because while combined subject searching is more authoritative, whether you're using the CINAHL headings or mesh terms, there are records that have not been assigned those headings. Therefore, you want to find those too, because they could also be crucial in terms of finding what's out there. So you'll see item 2 does have subject headings, as you can see here, etc., as does item 3. But this is a good example where using a title abstract search is quite important, because obviously words appearing in the title or abstract do indicate relevance to a large degree. Okay, so that makes sense, but I just wanted to highlight that in terms of this record being not fully indexed. It's there, we have the citation, but we have no subject terms yet assigned to it. Okay, now another thing to point out to you is the search history. So this is the recent development that's been around now for a month or so, and that is where the rows above stay on the screen, and also you'll now see there's the link to the search history. So I can expand that and I can see the search appearing above the result list. Okay, so this is a feature which is enabled in EBSCO Experience Manager, which is one of the 2 admin tools to administer the interface. So some of you who are using the new platform may not have yet seen this. You may not have this enabled. Please let us know, especially your account team, and we can switch this on for you. Okay, so this is now available and this is live, okay, in this site here. So you can see now the search rows, the search history, and then the results below. Obviously, at this stage, I am looking at now the equivalent subject headings from CINAHL, the CINAHL index for cancer. So for that, I'm going to go to the Research Tools area on the left, click CINAHL headings. I'm going to clear my screen here, and I'm going to just enter cancer and see what we can find that's relevant to this topic. Okay. So you can see here for cancer, we should be using neoplasms. So this is the index term that's assigned to articles about cancer. And you can see various others there as well. So what we can do is click on this term, and you'll see there's a scope note. Okay. So there's other headings it might suggest as well. So we can select neoplasms here. And when we select it, it selects it from the tree below. This is the CINAHL subject tree. And you'll see automatically it's exploded to include these other terms as well, cancer-associated, etc., charted neoplasms, and so on. So there may be others that we want to include as well. So for example, with the related headings, we've got cancer fatigue, cancer survivors, oncology. We can also include those as well. So you can see neoplasms is used for cancer, neoplasm, tumor, or tumors. So again, this is the indexing for CINAHL on cancer-related topics. So click Add to Search. This then places the search string in the top search box here. Okay, so we've got those, and you can see we've got MH is prefixing these field codes. This indicates these are exact CINAHL headings. You can also see that from the drop-down menu here. Gives you the description. We're not using the drop-down menu specifically, so I can change back to all fields here. And then the plus sign for neoplasms indicating it's including narrow terms as well. So I click Search here. Okay, so what it does is add that to our search history. So again, it's what we like to see. We like to see where we are with the search. It's displayed on the same page. So we still have our results below. We have the search boxes above, and we have the search history here. So what we can do at this stage, because we're going to combine it with another aspect of the PICO element, the P element, the population problem, because we're not only looking at cancer, we're looking at patients who are experiencing fatigue with cancer. So we'll select both sets here for now. We're combined with OR, because we're combining the title and abstract search with the subject search. And then you'll see the sets are grouped together in the top search box. And then we click Search here. And then you'll see the third set is added. So you'll see the sets are listed in reverse chronological order. So we've got the latest search string above. We can resort them. We'll do that later by clicking ID, and you can resort and have the S1, S2, S3 sequence. So we'll now look at fatigue. So we're going to go in and put fatigue. So again, this is our keyword search, also title abstract search, or we'll add lethargy. So we're going to truncate that for lethargic as well. Likewise with exhaustion, we're going to truncate that. So it could be exhaustive, exhausted, etc. And let's see what else can we have here. Tired or tiredness. So again, we could put in tired, and that would be tiredness as well. Okay, so again, we're going to search for these keyword search terms within the XB title abstract field code here and run the search. Now, if at any point in time you spot an error, typo, then please do let me know. But there are ways to edit the search string. So just to point out this, you can see each set number. You see the search string with the syntax given, the field code, the asterisk, etc., the hash, the search options. So the fact we're using proximity apply subjects is recorded, even though these are largely overridden now by our use of the field code and also the field code essentially is a command line query. And then the results are given for each set. You can see the database we're on is CINAHL, of course. And then we have this tools menu, which allows you to edit the search. So if you need to make changes to this, which you might do in a moment, then we can do that. So I'm just thinking if we can, if we should make a change here on anything at this stage, probably not, but we can look at that a bit later to see how that works in practice. So there are edit options for each of the sets here that we have displayed on this screen. So we're now looking for the equivalent for fatigue, etc., within the index. So we're going to go to CINAHL headings again, clear this, and then this time we're going to look for, let's go for fatigue specifically, okay, and find what terms are available within CINAHL. So again, we can go to one of these terms, just click through to it. You'll see the description or scope note for this condition. We've got fatigue here. We could use exertion as an alternative, etc. And then we'll see if there's anything else here that we might want to use in relation to this. So if we go down further, we've got mental fatigue here. We want to include that as well, etc. And you'll see the subheadings also open up. So you can be more focused regarding the subject terms. So for example, in some instances, you may want to look at drug therapy or diet therapy for a particular condition, or where it's the subject term you're looking at. So again, you can choose these, but by default, all are selected essentially. Okay, so I think we might just leave that as it is for now, for the sake of time. There is, by the way, this arrow on the bottom right above my taskbar, which allows you to navigate back to the top of the screen as well. So you don't always need to be scrolling back and forth, as it were. So I've got those terms selected. I click Add to Search, and you'll see those three subject terms, the CINAHL headings, are included, of which fatigue and mental fatigue are exploded, as you see the plus sign. So we can click Search here, and that will, of course, add that to the search history, and then we can combine S5, S4, which relate to fatigue, exhaustion, etc., with each other with OR, and click Search. And then what we'll do now is group the PICO elements together. So we've got the cancer element combined with the experiencing of fatigue. Now, we can filter according to adults as well, so we'll look at that later. So we've not factored in that these are adult patients necessarily, so we can do that once we've completed the search. So we're going to combine these now with AND. Okay, so you can see S3, S6, these are the two sets, one related to cancer, one related to fatigue, etc. And then search, because it's not just any cancer patient, but those who are experiencing fatigue in particular. So we've got our results there. This is S7. Now we're going to move on. And again, if there's any comments or questions, I'm just going to check if there are any at this stage. I don't see any. But now we're going to move on to the next element, of course, which is the intervention. So we're looking at meditation and how this can help in terms of the quality of life for these patients. So we're going to meditation. So again, follow the same process. We choose XB. And then we'll add meditation. We'll also truncate it, so we can find meditate as well, or meditated. And then or mindfulness, so we'll put mindful, so we can pick up mindfulness as well. Okay. And also breathing. So we could, let's just do breathing for now. Or yoga is another option. And also with double quotation marks with guided imagery as well. Again, these are just terms that we've come up with in the initial generating of terms, so synonyms, etc. So we've got those terms, okay? So we've got the exact phrase for guided imagery. We're on search here. Again, we're looking to identify those terms within the title abstract fields, within the CINAHL records, and then we'll move to the research tools, CINAHL headings again, and we'll now look for the equivalent subject terms. So again, we'll start with the lead term, which is meditation. Okay, and we click enter or search, and you'll find, not surprisingly, we do have meditation here. Also to point out here, we have the major concept column 2. That means you can, select records where that is the major index term assigned to an article. So in other words, you would be retrieving records where meditation is the key subject, as it were. Now, of course, in the context of this search, we are going to combine terms, etc. We're trying to find what's out there. So we may not want to narrow it too quickly or be too focused at this stage. So what I'm going to do now is just click meditation again and just show you the scope note. We've got meditation here, and you can see what it's used for. Okay, so it includes transcendental meditation, and we may have other terms here, for example, like relaxation techniques we can use also, etc. Mind body techniques as well. Okay, so again, we've got those that we can use. Okay, and let's see anything else here that we could use from this. Okay, so I think we'll go for those for now. Add to the search, and we'll click search here. Okay, so we'll combine the two sets together. Again, this is the intervention of the PICO framework, and we'll combine it with OR. And then after this, click search. We have one more set to do, which is the outcome, which, as you can guess, is, of course, quality of life. So again, we'll work on this next set before we combine all the sets to retrieve our results. And we're going to start entering our terms here. Now, what I'm going to do at this stage is I'm going to put quality of life. I'm going to search for it in terms of life quality or quality of life. So I'm going to put in N1, that's near 1 or less. So that would look for quality of life or life quality, etc. Okay, so using the near operator, I'll add QOL to as the acronym. I'll also look for well-being as one word. And I'll also look for well-being, again, as two words, or possibly whether it's being well. Okay, so again, well-being or being well. Okay. And then we could also do with living quality as well, quality of living. So again, we could do this and add quality of living. Okay, so living quality, living, let's put 1 again. Okay, so that's quality of living or living quality. Okay, now there are other ways to render these strings as well. So obviously over time, you may adapt this further, correct it, amend it, and so on, but just give some illustrations of what you can do in searching on the interface itself. And then I'm going to search within the title, abstract fields, etc. Okay, so let me search here. Okay, and then you should see that search string appearing below. Okay, and then finally, if we go to CINAHL headings again, we'll search for the equivalent subject terms here, see what we can find. So I'll just search for quality of life for now. Okay, you can see it's a CINAHL heading, so I can select that. Okay, I can just go into it again to select, I can look at other elements here which might be useful. So for example, I've got psychological well-being, which relates to our search as well. If we scroll down further, wellness, possibly, you could use. Okay, so again, we've got those terms we can include. Again, you can see psychological well-being. So well-being, psychological, spiritual well-being, sense of well-being, all use psychological well-being, and we've selected that already. So let's see, we can go up here. Let's see, we can also go for quality adjusted life years, possibly, and then we'll add to search. So we've got numerous terms here, number of terms related to quality of life, well-being, etc. And then we'll run the search on these index terms. So in other words, we would identify items indexed in CINAHL that have been assigned these headings. Okay, so we'll combine the two sets together then. So we've got S12, S11. Okay, we'll group them together. Sorry, let me just do, let me see. That's interesting. I need to edit this one particularly. So I'm not sure I didn't do that before. Let me just go in here. I can edit the search here, so I'll show you how to edit the search at this stage. So you'd notice it's appended the XP field code, so I didn't clear that. So I can just remove that from this search string. Okay, actually not there. Sorry, let me correct that again. It should be here. Okay. So I might need to redo that if I messed that up. Let me just click continue here. Okay, and close this down. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it's got the search string now. So you can see you can edit each search string by clicking edit search details. And then it gives you the opportunity to rerun that search as it were with the corrections. Okay, so XP is now being removed from here. Okay, so now what I can do is combine those two sets again. So I can go in the title object search, the subject search, combine with OR. Okay, and then search. Okay, so now I'm going to resort this because we've got ID here. So above the set number, just click that and you can see the sequence. Okay, so we've already combined the first two elements, which relates to cancer fatigue. That was related to the P element, the patient, the problem, etc. But we then got the rest. So we've got S7, okay, which relates to cancer fatigue, etc. We've got S10, which relates to meditation and related topics that relates to the intervention. And then we have the outcome also of this PICO model or framework as well indicated there. So we're going to combine all three. So I can go back to combined with and. You can see the sets are combined with the Boolean and in the search box. So I can click search here and then generate the results. So this is how we've done in this session. I've run this a number of different times. So we've got 386 in total. Obviously, this could be the first time we're running the search, so we will adapt it. And one thing we can also do here is apply the filter, as I mentioned earlier. There's a filter for the fact that we're looking at adult patients, basically. We're not looking at children. We're not looking at adolescents. So what we could do at this stage, if we go to all filters, then you will see if we scroll down, we have age. Okay, and then you can see we've got all adults here. Of course, it could be a particular adult age, but at this stage it's all adults. So we're going to select that one and apply it. And we've got 100. Let's see what we've got here. Yep, 178. Okay, and notice that is also applied as well. By the way, that's the filter is indicated in the search option. So when you download the search history, that should be shown. Okay, so we've got our search there, and with this in view, obviously we can apply the filters. We've got the date as well. It could be the last 10 years or 5 years or so on. You've got other filters here, for example, English language here. If you scroll further, you've got gender also indicated here as well. So again, there may be others that you want to apply. And of course, you'd need to report on that in terms of the likes of Prisma and so on, indicating what you've applied to the search according to the database and the interface you're using, etc. So we've got our results there. They are sorted by relevance, by the way, as you can see here, and that's based on the subject field. So weight is associated with the subject indexing, so the CINAHL terms, the words in the title, the words in the abstract, etc. Author supply keywords, and lastly, words in the full text. So again, there is an algorithm behind the scenes at work to determine what is the most relevant reference. And you can see this one is clearly very relevant to our search. It's quite recent as well, published in August 2025. With this one, we have the abstracts. You can expand that to see the complete abstract. You'll see our key terms are highlighted there, as they are highlighted in the title in yellow, and also the subject fields also. So you notice the fields, by the way, are collapsed, and that is deliberate, partly to reduce the cognitive load for users, to improve accessibility, also for screen readers and so on. And typically, if you do have articles with long abstracts, as this one does, it's going to take a lot of screen space as well. But also you can expand it if you want to see it. There are settings in the admin tools to expand this by default, by the way. There's some debate about that. Some institutions prefer to see the abstract displayed immediately. Okay, so we have got this reference. And the key thing here is that it's also a good opportunity to explore certain records to see, check for additional key terms, maybe other articles by the same authors, published in the same journal, etc. So you'll notice also for these authors, there's 13 more co-authors here. So if you click that, you'll see them listed here. Likewise, again, with the abstract, you can search the abstract for key terms, maybe terms you've missed. And also, since there are a large number of subject headings, you can also review these to see if there's any that should be included in your original search. So you can go into the actual article itself, of course, and explore it directly. You've got the metadata there, and you can see again the authors are linked through, the affiliations is given, the source is given, hyperlinked, and then you have the subjects there, the key terms, etc. as well. And of course, if it's available full text, then you can explore the full text content itself. There's also this little tab here for references as well, using linked data. So it's providing us with additional references, the articles based on the referencing. These are the references in the article. So again, you can explore other articles as well and also save them here as well. Okay, so we'll talk more about processing records in the next session, okay, part 2, which hopefully some of you, if not most of you, have already registered for as well. Okay, so let me just check on here. I think there may be a question or comment here. So yes, a question from Elaine here. It would be helpful if the search box defaulted back to all fields. I also keep leaving in field codes or previous search, but I'm using some headings. Yes, noted. I believe that's been reported before, but certainly we'll make a note of that. Yeah. Okay. So there is a clear find field feature. So it clears the search string, but some other elements there that remain. Okay. Also, Claire here, we get asked if XB title and abstract or title and or abstract. So it would also be helpful if the XB field explicitly said title and or abstract, because some people think title and abstract means the search word has to be in both. Yes, that is still under review. I know at least one database, I think it's APA PsycInfo, it does state title or abstract for the APA database on the EBSCO platform. At the moment in CINAHL and MEDLINE, it's still saying title and abstract. The point is, it does search them simultaneously, and the terms do not have to appear in both fields. But I can understand the lack of clarity, so there's some discussion about that going on. So we'll be attending future meetings, by the way. Again, we can raise that and see if there's any progress with that. But right now, it is as it is, but it does search. You can try it yourself. I've tried it. You can search for title or abstract in a traditional way, etc., and it does do that. It will search for terms in any of those fields, as well as if they appear together as well. But I can understand the lack of clarity there. Okay, so thank you for that observation and sharing that with everyone today. Okay, so again, we're not going to go through the processing results here, but again, if you are looking at results here, let me just go back. They're still displayed here. So for example, this one, this is still relevant. Obviously, particular cancer. Access options, we have the PDF or online full text here. So we go to the PDF. It means that you can review the actual full text document. Again, you can go through this yourself, read through it, etc. And we do have text-to-speech software, by the way, for PDF now. You can listen to it if you prefer. And you can download it offline to listen to it. So again, you have those features as well. And for the benefit of those, if you come across an article, I didn't filter by English language, by the way. So if I have some other non-English articles here, this one obviously is in English, but if I go to online full text, just to point this out to you, in case you're not aware, you can translate the article. Okay, so if you come out, for example, you retrieve an article that's in Spanish, and you want to read it in English and check that out, then you can do so. You can switch to that language. Okay, so you have multiple languages here, and this is provided by Microsoft, by the way. It's a machine translation provided by Microsoft. So it means you can translate the articles, which is a lot better than back in the day, as I did myself. I had to send off articles for translation, basically, a long time ago. And now you can do it online when the full text is available online as well. So again, just some clues there, and what I might do at this stage is just go back to my PowerPoint. So let me just do that now. So let me just go back to the PowerPoint. So just gone through the live demonstration, applying some of the features we saw. This is an example of the search history, of course, and you have the PICO element there, or parts of the PICO element, two sets that we initially ran a search on to combine them both, the intervention, of course, related to meditation, mindfulness, and so on. And then ultimately we had the outcome related to quality of life and related terms. Okay, so we combined those and also applied the filter for adults. So in terms of the syntax, I've introduced that to you today. So you're already probably using this. But for those who may be new to it, we do have these help sheets, one for CINAHL, one for MEDLINE. They're essentially the same. Obviously, the examples may be slightly different, but the syntax is essentially the same for both databases. So if you are probably using CINAHL, you can circulate that. If it's MEDLINE, you can circulate that. But these handouts basically detail the syntax you use for specific elements of searching within CINAHL, and it includes the XB field code now. So these have been updated recently. So I will look at the methodological search filters now, but before I do that, just to respond to Alexis' question, do you have to use capital letters for the Boolean operators? I tried them with and without and get the same number of results. Okay, good question. You might find you do get the same number of results. However, it's possible to stipulate in our EBSCO admin tool that you must use or and in uppercase for the Boolean logic to apply. So again, it depends on the institution, what's been agreed centrally as to whether or not they should be in uppercase. I typically put them in uppercase. It's just easier to manage, to monitor what you're doing. Obviously, if you use the drop-down menus, the Boolean operators there in the search rows, it will add them in uppercase as well. You will find with the autocomplete feature, so if you start typing in the search boxes, and I'll see if I can get that in a minute. Let me just share my screen here before we go on to, we will go into the search filters now. Let me just respond to this. So I'm going back to my desktop in response to Alexis' question. So if you can see here, if I just clear this a moment, you've got and or not, these are in uppercase. These will be rendered uppercase. You can see my search strings and the operators are rendered in uppercase here. Now, if you search for these terms and the autocomplete comes up, then you'll see they're rendered in lowercase. Okay, so these are popular searches from around the globe. These are common searches for users, and you can use these search strings. But I understand based on recent feedback, there is an issue when you're using these because it doesn't necessarily always treat these as Boolean operators. Okay, so again, it depends on how you've been set up with the behind the scenes with the Boolean operators. So I as a practice, I use the uppercase all the time. Okay, I think probably most do, but if you are, acknowledging, of course, that you get the same number of results, then obviously that's certainly not stipulated then in your institution. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I'm going to stop and go back to the filters just briefly. So just to introduce the search filters, the methodological search filters, which can be applied. Both CINAHL and MEDLINE have their own filters, unique filters. So evidence-based practice is a unique filter for CINAHL, and it's a tick box on the advanced search page. So essentially what it means is that when you run a search and you're doing a search, you enter your search terms and you can apply this filter from the outset. If you apply it to the original search, then you will get articles from evidence-based practice journals like evidence-based nursing. You will get articles about evidence-based practice. You will also retrieve, where appropriate, research articles, and that would include systematic reviews, clinical trials, meta-analyses, etc., and also commentaries on research studies. So basically, you run an initial search. It could be like a scoping search, apply this filter, and it's going to bring back results based on the special interest field evidence-based practice. So basically, it's retrieving higher quality research, etc. So again, if you want to see what's been done before, then you can run a search and retrieve accordingly. EBM is slightly different in that the EBM reviews filter from MEDLINE, it works in the same way. You enter your search terms and apply the filter from the advanced search page. It will retrieve records that are available in the Cochrane database of systematic reviews, ACP Journal Club, clinical evidence, evidence-based journals, evidence reports, technology assessments as well. So essentially what it's doing is limiting your search to a small set of titles that apply very strict criteria. So therefore it'll include high quality evidence-based content. So again, it could be a useful way to identify what's been done before. You could pick up additional search terms, subject headings, etc., and so on. So again, you're filtering almost immediately by focusing on high quality evidence, applying this filter to your search. Now we have two more as well, both for MEDLINE, CINAHL and MEDLINE clinical queries. These have been created with input from the Health Information Research Unit at McMaster University in Canada. So they were instrumental in promoting evidence-based medicine in the mid-90s, just as I started out as a librarian. So they have these filters designed for the EBSCOhost interface therapy, prognosis, review, qualitative, and causation. So these are the 5 research areas, and you'll see in the box here, basically it's a drop down. You can select multiple ones if appropriate, but each of these filters has these research areas has also 3 strategies. So high sensitivity means the broadest search. You include all relevant material essentially, but it may include less relevant content. High specificity is more targeted. It includes the most relevant result set, and then you have the best balance between the two. Okay, so we do have information on the actual strategies behind each of these queries. So you can see the example here with therapy. For high sensitivity, you can see the search string used. For therapy high specificity, you can see the search string used, and so on. Okay, so there's the methodology behind these filters. See clearly, explicitly how they're searching. Okay, so there's a direct link there to EBSCO Connect for more information on each of those research areas. Okay, so again, these filters have been around for quite some time. I'm not sure if there are any plans to update these or enhance these in any way. I know Pam just mentioned mixed methods, so I'm not sure what else will be done behind the scenes. They've been around for some time, put it that way. So again, I don't know what the plans are to update these in any way. I know they have been reviewed in the past by others. So again, it's worth consulting the literature about that, and we can have additional feedback about these. MEDLINE has 9 research areas in total. So you'll see additional ones. For example, you've got diagnosis there, you've got costs and economics as well. And they work in the same principle. And again, to give you an illustration, this is for diagnosis. So you can see the difference between the sensitivity, specificity, search strings there, and best balance. Okay, so again, there's a methodology, a search string behind each of these research areas and the search strategies that are given. Okay, and again, more information is available on EBSCO Connect. So just briefly to demonstrate this quickly, so what I'm going to do is clear my search and go to my desktop again. So just to highlight really where they are essentially. So we're in CINAHL here. You can see you've got the filters available. If you scroll down, you'll see evidence-based practice. Okay, so you'd enter your terms above. You can use more, enter line by line, as it were, and then you can apply the evidence-based practice filter here. And below that, we also have the clinical queries here as well. Okay, so again, you can see them listed here. Okay, and if I just switch to MEDLINE briefly, okay, go to MEDLINE, and I'm just going to have 2 query strings here, and I will contradict myself somewhat. I'm going to just use these query strings for now. Okay, just so that I can illustrate this quickly. Okay, and then apply this filter. So I've got my search strings combined, and then I can apply the filter, the clinical queries filter here. Okay, so for example, diagnosis or review. Let's go for reviews here. Okay, and research search here. Okay, so you can see here, it's brought back my results here. I've got over 6,000 in fact. Okay, and you can see the first one is assessment review, meta-analysis, etc. And if you want to see where the content is coming from, then if I scroll above, go to my filters here, and then you can see the publication here. So these are the publications index. Okay, if you want to go a step further and you want to focus on those 6 titles specifically, you can apply EBM reviews here as well and apply it. And you see I'm down to 18 now. So these are coming from Cochrane, probably primarily. Okay, evidence report technology assessment. So again, very quick way to filter to high quality evidence, and particularly to see what's been done before, perhaps. Okay. In terms of ongoing support for using this, we have the help menu on the left-hand column. So this is a generic guide for using the EBSCOhost interface, the new interface. Okay, so again, it's got the basics, searching with Boolean operators there, and other tools. So again, searching wildcards, for example, which we talked about earlier. Again, some illustrations there. Some more information on EBSCO Connect. Okay, so just go back to the PowerPoint here. Okay, so it's just gone through the filters. And a reminder again, obviously, you'll be referring to the Prisma checklist, etc., to ensure that you can verify what you've done. And of course, specifying the databases. We've seen how you can do that in the search history, also the results as well, the search strategy itself, etc. Okay, and we'll talk more about saving that and downloading that as well in the next session. So there's quite a lot to cover, of course. We do have the EBSCO Connect information, so we have more information about what's coming in terms of supporting system reviews using the interface. So again, there's a current page there. It's been updated recently, which details what's happened, what's changed, and what is changing in the future. Okay, so more developments. So in terms of just some take-home points, just briefly then, obviously you can use PICO, PICOT or other frameworks to construct the search strategy. Can be applied, of course, to the interface. Search using free text or keywords combined with the appropriate subheadings, whether using mesh for MEDLINE or CINAHL headings. Obviously, make sure you use the EBSCO syntax. You may find that syntax used by other platforms would still work on the platform itself, but the results will be skewed. Okay, they'll be different. Create a personal EBSCO account. We didn't cover that today. Save searches, create search alerts. We'll cover that in the next session. And then consider using the methodological search filters as well to identify key articles and maybe give clues for search terms. So there is additional support, of course. I've included some of the key documents in the PowerPoint. So using the HB field code, which we discussed briefly, how to create a proximity search, and so on. So again, you can refer to them in your own time. And of course, EBSCO Connect we mentioned and referred to during the session, connect.ebsco.com. And we also have the training resources portal, which groups together a lot of the health-ready content in terms of database searching, tutorials, help sheets, and so on, and also upcoming training as well. So I appreciate that's quite a quick end to the session, but you can contact me directly at rcooks@ebsco.com if needed. Thank you very much.